Hi, and welcome to Vibin With, brought to you by Puzzle of Color.
Today we're vibing with Ija Charles, a self-taught painter entrepreneur from Columbus, South Carolina. Her series range from portraits of ordinary people to diverse samplings of symbols from our day-to-day culture. These images are then reimagined and reconstructed in her own unique way.
Ija, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited to be on this panel with you guys.
Thank you so much for having us and for agreeing to let us use your art for a puzzle. It's absolutely beautiful and has been so well received.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm just seeing people react to it and just seeing all the posts and little kids saying, it looks like me. Like that has been my favorite part.
Absolutely.
There's been a lot of that. So, hey, can you give a little background about yourself for the audience?
Well, my name is Ija Charles. I am 23. I'll be 24 in 2 weeks, but I am self-taught.
Birthday.
Thank you. I didn't go to school for art. It was just something that was like self-therapy for me growing up. But as I got older, that same joy I got from it, other people started to pick on and was like, hey, we actually like what you do. So in high school, I was selling full-time. That was like how I made my money. And I just decided, why not make it a career, something that I love. I'm not sure exactly where it'll take me, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do. So I just paint positive vibes on the canvas of life now.
I love that.
That's super cool. You said it's like therapy for you. How did it, what about it felt like therapeutic?
So when I would paint, I didn't have tools to paint back in the day. It was mainly just drawing and sketching. Mm-hmm. And like I used to pull berries off my bush and make like paint out of it. So I still have those drawings. My parents used to always say, make things happen no matter what resources you have. Mm-hmm. So that's just always stuck with me. But when I would be like if I was depressed or I was just thinking about things that were going on in my life, that was my only thing that I could do with myself that made me feel happy without having to use outside sources. And then I didn't really care about how people reacted, but once I saw that they reacted so positively, it just became an even bigger thing for me.
Absolutely. So I know you talked about in your bio, it talks about like that you take the ordinary and, put your own style on it. How would you describe your style?
I would say that my style is based off of soul, not so much beauty, because I know a lot of people create to make pretty art. I create to give you a feeling. I feel like feelings are more important than the actual look of a piece, because one thing that is universal is emotions, no matter who you are. So when I create, I also use people that you would see in the street. Like even when I do murals, I want somebody to be able to walk up and be like, that looks like such and such. That looks like me, instead of just always using high profile face and things like that where people can't really relate. I wanted to always be brought back home to say that, hey, I did this. Anybody can. Mm-hmm. And what I talk about and discuss is realistic to all, not just a select few.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so kind of like, as long as your people being very ordinary people, I know it's like in your hair, you always have something like going on. Like you can see it like there's like a scenery or like an imagery. What is the meaning behind that?
I first started putting images in the hair when I was actually frustrated. I did my first one when I graduated high school because trying to become an artist has been difficult, especially when I first started out. My parents were medical, rest went to the military, so it's like I had to build my own road. And a lot of the times when I would create, I used to always think about just things in like my imagination would run wild, but when I would put it on paper, it always didn't translate into what I wanted. So when I put visions in the hair, it's like things in your mind translate through your expressions instead of actually in real life. So I always like to do that when I'm trying to bring together a story.
Yeah,
that's great. I love that. I guess along the lines of your puzzle, Black Boy Joy, how did it feel when you like really saw your puzzle like in someone's hands or doing it, creating the art?
Well, when I got it, my mom had it. She opened my mail. This is mine. I'm keeping it in our front room and all that. She's in love with it. When I got to see it, how everything was put together, I was like, wow, this is freaking amazing.
Yeah. Did she actually put it together already?
Oh, she's working on it now, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yes.
It was just super dope to just see it. Because one
Yeah.
thing, fine, but to have it in your hands to just see how just beautifully it's been put together, I was astonished. Like right now, I'm actually working on a mini commercial so I can post it on my social media for it.
Oh,
'Cause
Good.
I love it.
That's
dope.
amazing. So, like, I mean, I know one of the things we've talked about with another artist as well is like just seeing those individual pieces. Like, I know, like, even for us when we cut the puzzle, like, I was like, oh, there's what is this pink? And it's like, oh yeah, that's the flower. That the purple is the flower. Like, you know, things that you see them in the big picture, but when you see the individual pieces, it's like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, like look at that detail. Look at that, you know, amazing scenery. You can see
And
like
that's
the
what I like
brush strokes.
because with puzzles, it's almost like when you're making art.
Yeah.
Every little piece makes a bigger image. And
Mhm.
when I start, it's just like you see everything that you work well for, at least for me, like every piece you worked on being put together one by one. It just feels like as an artist, like you're just painting and every stroke has a meaning. And once it
Yeah.
all comes together, it just makes a beautiful picture. So I love the concept. I
That's
love it.
awesome.
And so I know you've done like a lot of art with other people with like murals and like how does that feel to like do a mural versus doing like a canvas, things of that nature?
I like it because it gives me a bigger surface that I don't
Yeah.
have to take so everyone can see. I personally like working on bigger, like just bigger things in general. Like
Mhm.
I just bought a house, so I'm actually gonna be painting my room full mural
Ooh.
mosaic, so I can't wait.
Wow, you're doing
Yeah.
real well. You bought a house, you're young. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to buy a house right
Yeah.
now. It's a competitive market over here.
Well, speaking of you being so successful, we see you did like a partnership with the NFL. How did that come about?
I thought it was spam. Like I didn't even say, this isn't real. And then
Mhm.
they reached out again. I was like, if you're real, I need you to Zoom call me. And I was just like this, and everybody was in suit and tie, business. I was like, oh, y'all real deal for real.
That is amazing.
Apparently, a lot of the people that work for the higher ups of the NFL, they knew me because they followed me. I don't really keep track of people who follow me.
Right.
So
Mhm.
they loved my work so much and gave me week 2. They was like, we see you really fast. You work really fast. Would you be able to be up for the challenge? And I was like, yeah, my dad would kill me if I don't.
You're right.
Brag.
Mhm.
So much fun. And then the fact that it was giving me the power to use my superpowers as an artist to actually create something so positive for the world to see by reflecting back on what the NFL has been doing using their superpowers. It's just
Yeah,
this three. Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
That's crazy.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So like what's your most memorable exchange of like selling your work? So do you do a lot of like just do you sell a lot of art separately or is it all like commissioned work?
It's a mixture of everything now.
Okay.
It started as just commissions, but now I take on a lot of pieces. Like right now I'm doing I think 3 exhibits. So I'm trying to work on a series called Good Memories, and it'll
Mhm.
be based off of me as a artist. Because a lot of people last year was like, "Who is Ija? Like, you need to talk about yourself more." So I'm just going to focus on like everything in my life that has made me who I am. Because I'm just a country girl from Paxville here in Columbus. I want to show my feet in the dirt, jumping in the rivers, and just showing them how I grew up and why I am who I am. So that's the whole series this year. And make money from just creating because I put on my website prints where you
Mm-hmm.
can just purchase anything from
Yeah.
$1 all the way to $100. So it just makes it easy for people to get stuff even when you can't afford an original.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been full time with this then since like
Oh yeah,
college, high school or since you
yeah.
graduated?
I'll say this: when I graduated high school, I moved to Louisiana,
Okay.
and I started there. I used to paint parade floats. I used to do like murals for like country clubs, and I know my favorite one was the horses, the cowboys, the black cowboys.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh
Ladies, it was
yeah.
really cool. So I've done stuff like that. And when I moved back to Columbia, I actually was a cake decorator. I was
wow.
doing things that were like in my field until
Yeah.
I got And I use that money from those jobs to promote my business. And once I started just being full on artist, things just started to go my way. I'd
That's
never said
awesome.
That's amazing. I mean, you can teach us a thing or two about just like following your passion and going jumping in all the way.
Jump in it.
Yeah. Well, so this show is called Vibin With. So we're vibing with Ija right now. What type of music inspires you?
I think that goes hand in hand with who inspires me as an artist, because I get that question a lot. And I would say Andre 3000 from Outkast.
Hey.
I grew up listening to old school De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, but Andre always stuck out to me because during that time he was big time. He had his own cartoon, he had his own movie, Idlewild, he had his own just everything. And I just loved that even though he was known as a rapper, he took that and just destroyed it and said, I'm a creator. I do what I want. I am Andre 3000 at the end of the day. I'm going to do what I want. And as an artist, I am a painter first, but I like to just dabble and do whatever I want. Like my page is like going on a roller coaster ride because I'm always trying to do things that are fun, different, and I just want to experiment. And it just reflects back to me as an artist, just seeing how he was just authentically himself. And a lot of hip hop back in the day, they were just themselves. You can tell who you were listening to. And they always just something positive, even if it was just something random. So and that resonated with me and I carry every day.
Awesome. Well, I sing So Fresh and So Clean every time I get out of the shower. I don't know. I don't know why it's stuck in my head like that, but
so like, what is like the musical feeling that you get behind your puzzle, Black Boy Joy?
The music that I listened to when I created it, and it's like the song that I always put behind it is by Pac Div. They're an underground group, but they were just singing about just being out and just hanging out with their friends and just chilling, but they had an old school vibe to it. And they're young, so they're just talking about how they're just enjoying themselves. And the reason why that song resonated with me so bad was the fact that when I decided to make Black Boy Joy, it was based off of my cousins. They were all just playing in the yard, scraping each other up, but they were still smiling. So Black Boy Joy is just showing you, like, even physically, mentally, in every version, you're already born at a disadvantage in this world, but don't let that ever stop you. Keep a smile on your face and keep just going. Like, there's nothing that you can't do. Just put a little Band-Aid on and keep running.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Well, we've gotten a lot of people who are like, you've got the Black boys, but we need to represent the Black girls. So we might have to, see what you have for future runs. Get some Black girl joy.
Very soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet us and share all of the amazing things about your puzzle. And I hope everybody out there will go and buy Black Boy Joy and, share in the joy that Ija is trying to share with the world.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Oh, before you go, plug us your socials, how we can reach out to you.
It's the same everywhere you go. I'm mainly on Instagram though. It's Ija, IJA_Monet. It's the same on Twitter and I think LinkedIn too, but I'm never on there. So just go on my Instagram or Facebook at Ija Charles. So that'd be the best way. I have my email attached, my websites and everything if you go on those sites.
That's awesome. Cool.
Alrighty. Thank you so much.
Your time.
No problem. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for an episode of Vibing With. Be sure to purchase a puzzle by this talented artist at puzzlesofcolor.com. You can also listen to a curated playlist of music to pair with their puzzle on Spotify and Apple Music. Just search for Puzzles of Color.